Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. This is going to be my Legends of Tomorrow episode 9 video, just careful for spoilers if you haven't seen it yet. The big deal with this episode was that they brought back the Matt Nable Ra's al Ghul, and they introduced the Talia Al Ghul character. I know everybody's always wondered if Talia exists in this universe. They've done a lot of weird things, like saying that Supergirl's on a different Earth. So now it's official, Talia is somewhere in this universe. She's a lot older than Nyssa, and I'll talk a little bit about what the producers have said about her in the past. They've just said in the past that Nyssa is always going to be their go-to sister just because they're so happy with what Katrina Law has done with the character. So even if Talia does come on the show as an adult in the future, it's always going to be a very minor thing compared to any stories that they do with Nyssa. So if you're wondering why we haven't seen Talia in modern day, one, it's because they haven't really found the right story for her, at least as an adult. And two, it's because they've already spent so much time developing the Nyssa character. If you're wondering how much older Talia is, she looks like she's maybe 10 years old in this. So 10 years old in 1960, if Oliver was born in 1985 and Nyssa is about the same age as Oliver, then that would mean that Talia is almost 35 years older than her. So if we saw her in modern day, unless they had some sort of fancy Lazarus Pit explainer where she's stayed young all this time, she's in her early 60s. But if Ra's al Ghul has been using the Lazarus Pit this whole time, Talia's probably been using it too, so they could introduce a young-looking Talia who is just chronologically very old. So wrap your brain around that, but let's do top 5 WTF and Easter eggs. There were a couple big comic book Easter eggs, starting with number 5. Hawkgirl and the Atom settle in Hub City. He becomes a professor. We actually see Bill Gates' father, which is funny, but Hub City is a big city in DC Comics, is where the question is from. It appears during the Blue Beetle comics. The first time Hub City was mentioned in a comic was during Blue Beetle #1, during 1967. So they're in Hub City in the 60s, so they're essentially living in a Blue Beetle comic book right now. But I will say one of my least favorite things about the episode was this forced relationship with Kendra and Ray. I get that over a period of time, they would just come to terms with it and try to make a life together. But the problem is that they rush it so much that you miss the montage. So it'd be like watching Batman v Superman and just fast forwarding all the way to the end of the movie. You would have no context for Batman's emotional arc. So definitely thumbs down on Hawkgirl Adam romance. I'm totally not digging their chemistry. So I feel like on the back end of this, we're going to see some more drama when Hawkman does reappear. And he is going to come back on the series. He reincarnates, so even though he's dead, he will totally come back. Number 4 WTF, Sarah goes back to the future. She rejoins the League of Assassins, goes totally hardcore, and they did kind of explain why she was so whacked out. So many of the characters were acting very strangely. Like even though chronologically a very small amount of time had passed, they were acting very out of character. The way they explained it was the time drift. The more time they spent in this alternate timeline, the more they forgot their previous lives. So that's why it seemed like some of them had drunk the Kool-Aid. But that's really a band-aid for them kind of fast-forwarding through the character beats that they needed to hit to make it believable that, like Sarah, for instance, went super dark, like, oh, they're never gonna come, I'm just gonna go be a killer again. It felt like they tried to undercut all the character development she had gone through before the series had started, becoming the White Canary, and then explaining it using this time drift. I understand what they were going for in this episode, but that was one of my big complaints, is that it's rushing so much character development. But whatever, we got cool League of Assassins. I feel like that was the pitch, like, hey, what if she went back to the League of Assassins? Speaking of which, number 3 WTF, Chronos reveals that he's really Heatwave. Everybody who guessed this ahead of time, high five yourselves. I noticed a lot of you guys were like, yeah, that's definitely Heatwave, it's gotta be him. And it took a little while for the episode to get there, but I felt like the last moment where they were like, okay, we're going to rehabilitate him, I feel like that emotional beat actually worked. So they're going to deprogram Heatwave, he'll just go back to being normal crazy. He's extra crazy now, they're going to bring him back to normal crazy. Number 2 WTF, this was just vicious. Heatwave, when he's still like in the Chronos persona, tells Captain Cold that the great thing about time travel is that he gets to kill his sister over and over. What has made him so psychotic? Really, his given mission is just to bring in Rip Hunter, to stop him from messing with the timeline. So when he's talking to Captain Cold here, he's gone totally off book. He's totally insane. So a lot of this did not make sense. Like, they didn't really explain why, even though he's a bounty hunter working for the Time Masters, he's gone crazy on top of that. He started out as this unbalanced rogue, went nuts trying to survive till the Time Masters found him, reconditioned him over a long period of years, so he lived many years outside the flow of time. Then when given the opportunity to bring his former friends in, he jumped on it. He's like, yeah, I'll totally bring him in. I hate those guys. But then when he finally gets them, he goes way off book and is like, I'm just gonna go do the Cisco 12 Monkeys loop where I get to kill your sister over and over and over. And then my number one WTF moment is just Captain Cold shooting his hand off. Well, really, he freezes it and then smashes it. But I love that reaction shot of him where Rip is like, oh, I didn't tell you? I can totally regrow your hand. And he just gives him that look like, oh, okay, cool. And they've already announced that one of the actors from Suits, one of the main actors, is playing this huge comic book character that's going to set off their season 2 arc. And I don't know who it's going to be. It could be Booster Gold. That'd be a long shot. I think it's more likely that he'd be Adam Strange. But they did say he'd be a really big character from the comics. I don't know when they're going to announce it. They might hold on to it till Comic-Con. Who knows? But let me know in the comments, what was your favorite moment from this episode? Was it Captain Cold shooting his hand off, then regrowing it? Was it finally seeing Talia Al Ghul in the TV universe? I would really love if on a future season of Arrow, they did like a Nyssa versus Talia story arc. I feel like this season, they've kind of destroyed the League of Assassins. They've officially disbanded. I feel like at some point in the future, like Arrow Season 5 or something like that, Talia will reemerge, try to reform the League, and they could do a badass Nyssa versus Talia arc. Those of you that are asking about Jonah Hex, that's going to be their Magnificent 7 episode. I think that's going to be in 2 weeks. Flash is on break right now. There is a new episode of Arrow next week, and I believe there's a new episode of Legends of Tomorrow. So Jonah Hex coming really soon. There's actually 16 episodes total this season. This was episode 9, so we actually still have quite a ways to go. But my next video will be a Flash trailer video. It's going to be all about Zoom's backstory, so I can't wait till the next episode of The Flash. It's going to be badass. So be sure to subscribe to get that. And don't worry, I will do Flash bonus videos while it's on break. While you guys wait for me to post that video, you can click here for this week's episode of The Flash, and you can click here for the Suicide Squad trailer that I just posted. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.